down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy Investors? This is your boy, Steve VanCauwenbergh. You tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. Bing, bing, yep. How you doing? This is a somewhat related real estate episode, but mainly family, right? But why are we in real estate? Hopefully is to have more time with your family. Everybody wants freedom. I want freedom. You want freedom. Chained to this microphone, I don't know if it's freedom. But if I can encourage you in some form or fashion in some way, man, that fulfills me. But what ultimately fulfills me is being a dad. That's right. D-A-D for dad, daddy ball. That's what they call me at the Crizzle, my nizzle. And it's been an interesting ride. If you don't know about me and this is your first time, let me tell you, I have an 8-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old. And if it wasn't for real estate, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do, obviously be on the radio show, but spend as much earthly, humanly possible time with these little rugrats. And it's been a trying time in a positive way of revelation for myself of all the things that I do wrong as a parent. And so I don't even know where I got this podcast from. But one day, maybe it was the Holy Spirit or something. It's like, hey, you need to encourage a dad out there and to keep going, keeping on, keep going to keep going, keep finding deals. So, one day that you can bless your family with that effort and energy that you put in, that it's not going to return void. And, my early mentors, we're talking 15, 20 years ago, their motive was to buy houses just for their kids for college. That house right there, or those 3 houses are dedicated to fund, higher education. Pretty fascinating, right? Well, why I do it, right? My number one goal for real estate is to spend time with my family, period. And that's why things get in the way. But these are the 10 things that I've learned about being a dad recently. Hopefully you can connect with these, or there's a nugget in here. So without further ado, number 1, bookends. And bookends, what do you mean bookends? That's right. I got this from my wife. I'm not sure where she got this from. She is an avid reader as well, and she digs in, and we're just trying to be the best parents as earthly possible. And she came across this comment, bookends. The most important part of a child's day is in the morning and at night. And I'm like, man, when I think about it, I try to get up at 5 a.m. and my son is the second one up in the morning. It's interesting. 2 boys, 3 ladies. And I come and I snuggle with him. He sits on my lap. I put whatever I'm reading down. And that's the first sign I do is I show him that he is way more important than whatever phone that I have on, or my tablet or my Kindle. And I put that to the side and I just love on him and just hold him and hug him. And then that's the first bookend. And then the last is at night. I pray over my son or my children. I put my daughter down first, my young one, and I read to her. And then I go in there and I just try to man up my boy, and it's a bookend. And then my wife, she gets to spend more time with the older one. But anyway, that's something that's incredible, that it was brought to our attention, that's the most important part of their life is the bookends. So you just need to think about that in the morning and at night. That's their first impression, their influence, you're everything to them. So focus on that, the bookends, the first and the last, Alpha and Omega. Anyway, number 2, this is one that's to strike a chord, and it's, for me, and I wrapped around this in my mind. And my wife brought this to my attention, which is extremely powerful. But kids act out, and it's from their heart, and they're not hurting me, or it's an inconvenience. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, my child will disrespect me or just do something funky, right? And my first inclination is to react. Like, why did you do that? And what I need to do is focus on, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what I'm learning right now, is focus on their heart. Where are they coming from? And why are they acting this way? And how can I respond that would make an impact. We read something one day. You have 30 seconds. It's called the Jesus moment. You got 30 seconds to breathe life into the child. If when they act funky and I rebel again, not rebel, but if I react or what are you doing? It's not an attack towards me. And sometimes kids can be offensive and the way they disrespect things. And like say they take something of yours and it breaks, right? That's the first thing that you just get frustrated. Why me? Why me? But try to turn around and look at their heart. Look at where they're coming from. How old are they? They're just 6 years old. It's not an attack to you. It may seem like an inconvenience, but it's only temporal. Number 3, this has been, and again, this is all my wife. I have no claim to any of this stuff, but this is stuff that we're doing right now that's just very impactful. And what that is that number 3 is date night. You need to take your daughter or your son, I call it boys' night, at least once a month. And it's just one-on-one time. You can go to Brahms. We got Brahms here, or 31 Flavors, or an ice cream shop, or just take them to the park and just spend time one-on-one, not distracted with your phone. I mean, you sit down. The best thing that I found when I'm dating my daughter is I just sit down and I look across the table from her. Yeah, I mean, date night is not rolling through McDonald's, grabbing some a Happy Meal, and then try to run to the Chuck E. Cheese. And that sounds like a date night. Yep, I've been there, done that, and I just knocked it off my list. Date night done. No, what date night or boys' night is a time to engage your child, get to the heart, what they're doing, and you got to start the dialect, right? So I'm like, what's your favorite color? What have you been up to? Who do you play with? What's your favorite subject? And what you're doing is that you're sowing seeds for the rest of their life. So when tough gets when it gets tough for them later in life, when they're out of control teenager, let's say if they are or not, okay, but they won't open up to you, but they'll remember. And if you invest this time now, just like real estate or anything else, if you read the books, if you invest in the classes, if you get a mentor, if you invest, investing will be easier later. And it's the same principle here with date night. If I just invest in my daughter in 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half on a Friday night or a Monday night, and I can see the affection that you receive is just bar none crazy. And they look forward to it. You know, hey, this Thursday we're doing boys night, boys only. And it's popping, or on Sunday or Saturday, but pick a day. But what you need to do at least once a month, date your children. Number 4, bang, dream board. I had my homie that I was working with, and I told him we need to do a dream board. He busted out this dream board. It's very impactful. That conversation rolled over to my wife. My wife, next thing you know, went to the half-price bookstore and got some magazines, and my kids went off on the dream board. It was incredible. I'm telling you, maybe $20, maybe a material, maybe $30. Call some people, get some old magazines, run out to the hospital, snatch some magazines off the counter, and have your kids be free to dream and put it visually. I did a whole episode on the dream board. You need to check that out. But I'm telling you, if you want to do a family night, do a dream board night. If your wife or your spouse or your significant other, whoever, your partner, whatever, if you really want to induce that relationship and make it the very best, do a dream board. If you're dating some chick, do a dream board together. Be proactive. Be the initiator. Be intentional. But, man, I'm telling you, when you lay out the magazines and they start flipping through it and they start envisioning what they can become and who they can become and what they can do and the places they can go, it is incredible experience. I can't even express to you how powerful, how amazing that is. Do a dream board. Number 5, pay your children to read. Listen, I don't know if you know my story, but back in the day, I was 6 years behind in reading. Yep, long story, too short, but I got in trouble in school. Teachers didn't like me and kicked me to the curb, and I was, man, I'm telling you, the critical years, 8, 9, 10, 11 is or maybe even earlier than that. I can't remember. But the point is, I was behind in reading. It has affected my life. That's why I'm a voracious reader today. But I pay my children today to read. Bang, bang, boom, boom, all day, every day. My 8-year-old reads chapter books, $5 a chapter book. It may take her a week. It may take her 2 days, but she can knock it out. I hear her reading in the car, and I don't chastise them what they do with the money. They can do whatever. Right now, it's not about the money. It's about the habit that I'm trying to create, the power of reading, the changing of their vocabulary, their comprehension. And telling you, you've got to do this. Even if you got a 20-year-old and they're struggling, they don't even know what they're going to do with their life, pay them $100 to read Rich Dad Poor Dad. A super successful investor friend of mine out of Tulsa, big baller, man, he paid his staff $100 for every time they read a book. I mean, incredible. What can it do? It could change. It's changed my life. One book has made me a millionaire. Think about it. One book has changed. Now, of course, I had to put that into action, but you could sow the seeds now and receive dividends later. So be upfront and read in front of them too. That's another thing I do every morning. My son rolls up in there 6 a.m. and he's groggy. I could hear him fumbling down the hallway, and he's like, I'm like, Max, you know what I'm doing? You're reading. I'm like, yep. Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders. The more you read, the more you make. He may not understand right now, but I promise you, later he will or she will. Big 6. Yep, your oldest should teach your youngest. I'm telling you, I got a course a long time ago. You should look this up. Rich Dad Poor Dad put a course about. I don't even know, it's out of print probably, but I have it somewhere, and it was a very impactful course. It was called Teach to Be Rich. And the point of that is the more that you teach a subject or something that you're passionate about, the more it's ingrained and the better you become. It's simple. If you call me and ask me about a simple question about how do I do an eviction, it makes my muscle stronger and faster and fluid if I teach you how to do evictions or teach you how to borrow money, whatever it is. That's why I love to teach. That's why I do this podcast. When I'm doing this podcast, it just reminds me that, bam, I need to teach more people. The more people that I can serve, the more that I can do. But it was the most powerful thing that my oldest, my 8-year-old, my wife was out of town, and, I got this laundry list of things I got to do with them. They got to do their homework. They got to do this. They got to do that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Kennedy, I need you to help Maxwell with his homework. And it was the most, I think this is where this podcast got inspired from. And she would just, Max, let me help you with your homework. And she sat down with him and helped him read and helped him sound out words. And it was incredible to see. And what that does, it enriches her. It also ignites the relationship and makes a solid more bond. And they're 2 years apart. I mean, I hope and pray that they are lifelong friends, and that just not in this household, but outside of this, that they call and connect with each other. But I think that if you allow your oldest to teach your youngest and be there and be involved with it, I think it will be impactful. I don't know where this is coming from. I made that up. I just saw it. Number 7, bang, 7, the number of completeness, health. I don't know if you've been following me, man, I just lost 40 pounds. You can't be rich and fat. I mean, no disrespect to all the fat folks out there. I was the fat folk. And I realized, man, life is so much better with no medication, with no stomach in my face, with the ability to do what I need to be doing as fast as I can be doing it. And so with my kids, we you want to put them in karate, you want to put, all this stuff. Well, somewhere along the line, on my dream board, yep, you got to put this, I wanted to hire a trainer. Somewhere around there along, I hired a trainer. Man, I'm excited. Then I talking to my trainer that he trains kids, and I'm like, man, that's weird. Who does that? Well, anyway, I commissioned this dude, and it was very minimal fee to hire this guy. And once a week, my kids are so jazzed up about training. And this guy, this trainer, is amazing. Give them the gift of life through health. If you need to hire a trainer, it's interesting. When my daughter was in dance, everybody, every parent was in the room, and what are they doing? What's the goal here on this dance thing? Is it giving them something forever? But when you teach them agility and you teach them cardio and you teach them the concepts behind it, I'm telling you, it could change your life. The gift of health, man, is way greater than money. So get the health thing going. Do it with your kids if you can. It's awesome. You need to get involved with health. All right, number 8. A couple of years ago, my wife's like, look, we need to cut out the tablets. I'm like, everybody does it. Everybody, you walk in Target and, little babies got tablets, phones in their face. Everywhere you go to the airport, tablets, every child has a tablet or in their face. I drive down the freeway and I can see little TV screens or LCD screens in the back of headrests. Everybody does it. Well, that's everybody else. And I forgot to do this, but there's a book that was written about, and if you want to know about it, about the future and of tablets and what people, the blue screen, I can't remember the name of it. Hold on, I'm going to put this on pause. All right, the title of that book is Irresistible: The Rise of Addictive Technology in the Business of Keeping Us All Hooked. All right, so anyway, a good friend of mine, Andy Gribb, told me about that book. And one of the things that in the introduction that blew my flipping mind, no doubt, and it ruined me. What blew my mind was there was a quote in there from Steve Jobs that he's the creator of the tablet, whatever, or his whole goal, every person on the planet should have a tablet. And I love tablets. I think they're very powerful. But the thing that was just blow your flipping mind, he's like, my children are not allowed to be on a tablet. And you can Google it up, Steve Jobs, kids not on the tablet or kid on the tablet or whatever. It's very interesting. The guy, the creator, knew that it would be addictive and it could, affect your children or you per se. And so that's the thing. My wife, I don't know, she came up with it beforehand, no tablets. And it took a while, like any other addiction. But, man, we haven't been on those things in about 2 years. Our kids now. I'm on them on occasion. But you might want to consider, it's a crutch, right? You're busy. Here's the tablet. You don't want them to cry. I'm telling you, fight through it. Get the tablet. Don't get the tablet out. Wait for the tablet. Now, keep in mind, man, I don't want to be hypocritical. Yes, when we travel, sometimes we have the tablet. We just took a long trip, and we didn't bust them out. We just entertained them in some more fashion. Has there been a time when we were on the airplane and with these children, and it's going off, and it's hot, and they're going wild? Yes. Have I busted out a tablet before? Yes. But just as a dad going through this 8, 6, and 4-year-old, try it. Number 9. They just want to be around you. Pretty simple. They want to be you. They want to be around you. Try to factor that in your equation of your skills of what you're doing for the day. What do you mean skills? Skills like be skilled in spending time with them. Don't just, most people, man, they get up. They barely see their kids. They roll out to their day job. Some people work to 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. They come back and they got 15 minutes with a child. Look. They want to be around you, and it's the most powerful thing that you could ever do is spend time with your children. So do it, and they want to be you. Remember that, and this is the one thing that my wife really just smashed me on. That was just, and this is why my whole life has changed, and I don't do as much as I want to do in real estate. But the one thing that my wife did, she said they're only going to be 8 years old one time. Right. Kennedy's only going to be 8. My daughter just turned 4. That's it. She's no more 3-year-old little baby no more. She's a 4-year-old young lady. And so when you think of it and you put it in perspective, man, you want to be around them. Number 10, they love to be physical. They do. They want to wrestle. They want to jump around and let them do it. I'm telling you right now, get a trampoline. It has the trampoline deal has been, it has been probably the funnest and the greatest thing that we have done as a family. Being on that trampoline, me just jumping on that thing, flipping them upside down, it's incredible. They love when you're physical with them, when you wrestle with them, when you go for a walk with them. Do something physical, whatever it is. Like not going on date night. That's not physical. I'm talking about something physically fun, like riding a bike or maybe going on a motorcycle ride. I don't know. Do something physical with them. Anyway, I know this was all over the place. I'm at the crib right now. My kids are all over it. They're getting ready for the morning. I want to get this out. Anyway, my name is Stephen VanCauwenbergh. If this impacted you, let your boy know. If I forgot something in this little 10, let me know, because I'm trying to learn and try to be a better dad myself.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.